Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, my name's Rod and I'll be conducting the webinar this morning in our series of fortnightly webinars. Today I'll be talking about one of our small group tours to South America operated exclusively by Contours Travel. This is a small group tour which we call Treasures of South America with a maximum group size of 16 people. We operate these throughout the course of the year. Okay, just a little bit about Contours Travel, originally founded over 40 years ago by Ted, the man who's still operating the company, and with his great experience and experience of the team of Contours Travel, it's enabled us to put together a well-balanced and smooth-running trip throughout South America. The beauty of the Contours Treasures of South America trip is the small groups. It is actually a small group with a maximum of 16 guests, with the group size varying between 10 to 16 people. This is fully escorted by a locally based English-speaking Contours Travel tour director who'll be with you throughout the course of the tour from Lima right through to Buenos Aires. Be conducting walking tours along the way, and the accommodation used throughout has been specifically chosen after much debate by the staff of Contours Travel. So it's a relaxed itinerary where people won't be rushing through, so you've got a little bit more time to soak in the sights, the culture, with a combination of organised sightseeing and a little bit of free time to wander the markets or just relax, okay? Because not everyone wants to be constantly on the move. So there's a little bit of everyone. And being a little bit for everyone. Being South America, there's so much wonderful things there. And not only do we like to take you there, but we like to give you the opportunity to meet locals, to soak up the culture. So there's opportunities throughout to take in community projects which have been sort of set up over a number of years by Contours Travel. Okay, so the actual itinerary itself starts in the city of Lima. So as we'll see in one of the next slides, is getting to Lima via Santiago and the start of the trip there. So coming in there, you've got basically 27 days of a fully escorted tour visiting to the Amazon region, to the Andean region, Cusco, Puno, Lake Titicaca and La Paz, before traveling to Santiago, following the chain of the Andes there, across to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, the mighty Iguazu Falls, and finishing off in the Paris of South America, Buenos Aires. So in that time, you'll get to experience a variety of different cultures, weather and climatic zones, okay, but what you will experience is the best of South America within that time frame. Okay, so being such a trip that covers such a vast area of South America, it includes not only the traditional city tours, but a trip into the Amazon where you'll see pink river dolphins. Yes, they are really a thing. Fish for piranha, have the opportunity to see sloths, and you're not going to find the deepest, darkest, lost Amazon tribe, but you will get a very good experience and understand what it's like to be in the Amazon, with guides telling you all about the medicinal properties of the trees, etc. You will travel into the Andean region where you'll see a variety of Inca sites, from Ollantaytambo to Machu Picchu, Sacsayhuaman, and the beautiful Inca capital of Cusco. You'll see weaving demonstrations, pottery demonstrations, before travelling on to the highest navigable lake in the world at Lake Titicaca. Onwards from there towards La Paz, the highest Bolivian, or the highest capital in the world of La Paz, and then from La Paz down to Santiago, where as you head out of the Andes, you'll notice a change in the people, and into cosmopolitan Santiago, where you'll have not only a city tour, but also get to sample some Chilean wine and visit the coastal region. Brazil, everyone's heard of it, wondered of it, seen the Christ the Redeemer statue. You get the opportunity in your time there to visit the Christ the Redeemer statue, look over the beautiful beaches of Copacabana and Ipanema, a cable car ride to Sugarloaf, and in Brazil, it'll be topped off with a final visit to Iguazu Falls. You will have the opportunity to see and to visit both sides of the Iguazu Falls before travelling on to Buenos Aires for a tour of the city, of the underground, the tunnel system. No need to be claustrophobic, and followed off by dinner and a tango before departing and heading onwards. You can extend your trip, as I'll go through later, or you can choose to go home from there. Okay, so getting to or from South America to start the trip. Now, flights are included in economy class to travel to and from Sydney, Sydney to Santiago and onwards to Lima, although we can modify that where it can be out of Brisbane, Melbourne, Hobart, Adelaide, Perth, in any of that combination, either via Sydney or via Auckland using LATAM Airlines. Okay, there is the opportunity for business class upgrades, or if people are wishing to do premium economy, which is only available on the Qantas operated flights, we can work out a cost difference for that if people are wishing to do that. So all of the internal flights are done with LATAM Airlines, formerly LandChile, okay, and all in economy class. So we can move dates if people are wishing to extend. As these tours are operated by Contours Travel, there is a little bit of a flexibility in getting to from South America and how you choose to do that. Okay, so starting off in the places that you'll visit the what's known as the City of Kings. Okay, the City of Kings being Lima in Peru. Okay, where you'll see the modern city, plus also the coastal region and also the ancient city with the Plaza San Martin, with the Lima Cathedral, and also a visit to the Larco Museum with a variety of pottery from various cultures that existed prior to the Inca. Now, only yesterday I was told a story where if you were to look at a book, okay, as far as if you looked at the whole book, only the last chapter would be the Incas. Such is the case of how many or empires existed prior to the time of the Incas as such. So you'll have 2 nights in Lima before visiting to the Amazon jungle. Now, the place where we've chosen to visit to the Amazon is in Iquitos in northern Peru, because it has the opportunity to see the sloths, to see the pink dolphins, to see a variety of bird life and animal life, as well as experiencing the primary rainforest there. So a 3-night trip into the Amazon before departing and travelling onwards from the Amazon via Lima and into the Sacred Valley. Okay, so once you arrive into Cusco, you travel down into the Sacred Valley, which is a region below Cusco. Okay, Cusco being at an altitude of 3,300 metres, some people sometimes experience difficulties with the altitude. So what we do is we travel down to the lower level at Sacred Valley around 2,600 metres, and it just gives people an easing into the altitude as such. So in the time there, in the 3 days that you've got there, you'll be visiting sites from the Fortress of Ollantaytambo to the colonial churches of Chinchero to the agricultural rings of Marai, okay, which on each different level, the Incas used to grow different crops to see what was the best altitude and the best climatic conditions to grow a variety of crops. So it was very experimental. You'll be visiting to one of the communities of the Andean region around Cusco, where you'll get to meet and experience and join in with the local people in their traditional culture, and also a part of the trip, it is donating a water filter which is used within these communities. That's a little project that's been set up over a number of years between Contours Travel, the Rotary Club of North Melbourne, and also the Andean communities and the local operators, which goes on to help the people. No trip to South America, of course, would be complete without a visit to the beautiful Machu Picchu, shown in this picture here. Absolutely amazing for its location and the work that was undertaken to construct a site such as Machu Picchu. And not only will you get to see and tour the site, but you'll have the opportunity to return on a second day to wander at your leisure through the archaeological site. Okay, there is the option for those wanting something a little bit different, where on the day on which you travel to Machu Picchu, you can, instead of the train, you can choose to do a half-day hike or a full-day hike to reach to Machu Picchu on part of the original Inca Trail. Okay, if people are wishing to do that, we just have to organise in advance to undertake that as such. Okay, so you've got a second day to visit Machu Picchu before returning to the ancient Cusco capital, the Inca capital of Cusco, where you can see the main square, the various different laneways with the Inca stonework on either side, the Inca stonework with the colonial churches built on top. When I lived in Cusco for many years, that was the view that I got looking out my window, my office window, of the Inca walls with the colonial church of Santo Domingo on top. So during your time in Cusco, you'll undertake a series of sightseeing tours, and you'll have some free day to utilise the Cusco visitors ticket, which you'll be supplied with, which will allow you entrance to a variety of museums and places throughout the Cusco region. Okay, so moving on from Cusco. Now it seems like you've undertaken a trip already. In itself, you've only done 14 days by now. So travelling onwards from Cusco, you travel through the Andes to reach to the city of Puno, located on the edge of Lake Titicaca. On that day, you'll travel past a variety of sites which you'll stop off and visit, and upon arrival in Puno, where you spend 2 nights, you'll have the opportunity to visit to the Uros reed floating islands, constructed totally from Tortuga reeds, where you'll see the people and how they exist in that situation. Okay. Leaving Peru behind, you'll depart by bus and then onto a catamaran, which will take you out onto Lake Titicaca to visit Sun Island, which was supposed to be the birthplace of the Inca culture. Travelling on Sun Island, where you'll get the opportunity to witness and see the beautiful landscape and the surrounding Andes mountain before travelling onto La Paz, where you'll spend 2 nights. In your time in La Paz, you'll do a city tour to take in the colonial city, also visiting something that you don't find anywhere else in the world, or in South America certainly, to the Witches Market, where they've got a variety of potions and brews and all sorts of strange goodies that you'll have explained to you about. Okay, so you'll also do a tour by the cable car system, and then departing to Santiago. Santiago, located on the edge of the Andes, the Chilean capital, and in your time there, you'll have the opportunity to undertake a city tour, and also a visit to a local winery. So a little bit of everything, and then it's onward to Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro with the Sugarloaf Mountain with Corcovado, and also experiencing the city and the beaches in your time in Rio de Janeiro. Okay. Just continued highlights after another. Okay, so you'll be stopping off and visiting to Iguazu Falls for 2 nights, visiting and staying on the Argentinian side within the national park there, and visiting to both the Argentinian and Brazilian side of the falls with a boat trip that goes into the falls. Okay, not in as in under, but you certainly will get wet. And the last stop on this tour is in the Paris of South America, Buenos Aires, the Argentinian capital, known for its coloured buildings of La Boca, known for its tango dancing, the Puerto Madero redeveloped area, and in your time there, you'll have a city tour, undertake a tour of the tunnels, have free time, have a tango show and a last dinner. So there's certainly a lot packed into the tour. And then on day 27, flights will be included to travel back to Australia from there. Of course, you can choose to extend, which I'll go through shortly, but basically there's a variety of accommodation from the colonial Posada del Inca in the Sacred Valley to the Malia Hotel overlooking the Iguazu Falls there, to the Amazon Lodges, to your hotel located on the beaches of Copacabana there. So there's certainly a variety of accommodation which has all been hand selected by Contours Travel for its location and the services that they offer. Okay, so we do run 4 tours each year, so you can see we've got a March, April departure, April, May, September, October, November. We feel that they're the best times to travel and sort of experience different regions, because traveling to the Andes, traveling to Brazil, Santiago, Buenos Aires, it falls into the best time to make the most of your time. So the pricing is set for 2018, okay, 15,299 per person for that tour. Single supplements available, and everything is based ex-Sydney, so there's $100 extra if you're travelling from Melbourne or Brisbane, and a little bit more from Hobart, Adelaide, Perth or Darwin. Okay, also Cairns if needed. Okay. So there's all your return economy fares included from Australia to South America, your internal fares, your accommodation in first-class hotels and Amazon lodges, breakfast daily and a variety of dinners and lunches throughout, your English-speaking local guides and your locally based tour director. One very important thing which people like to have done is the tips are included for the local guides and drivers throughout, so you're not having to regularly dip into your pocket to cover those incidentals as such. Entrance fees and the donation of the water filter, so everything's provided along the way with just incidentals, a few meals and a little bit of shopping and spending money. Well, you might fancy a beer or wine while you're there as well. Okay, so if you've reached the end of your time and you're wanting to see a little bit more, you can always add on a pre-tour extension to the Galapagos Islands, to the Lake District of Argentina and Chile, from Bariloche to Puerto Varas, to southern Patagonia with El Calafate, the Moreno Glacier, and as we can see in this picture, Torres del Paine National Park, or why not include a trip to Antarctica. All these things can certainly be added on to any trips that we operate throughout, and certainly to the small group tours that we're operating. So not only do we operate small group tours, the Treasures of South America, we've got the Treasures of Mexico, with the opportunity to extend across to Cuba, or I myself am operating two tours in November 2018 and March 2019, which is a Patagonia and Antarctica trip. You'll be able to find further information about those trips on our website, contourstravel.com.au, but certainly feel free to get in contact with us and we can provide more information as required for both of those and any other FIT arrangements that your clients may need throughout South America. Okay, so all of these tours and much more is covered in our Latin America and Antarctica brochure. Certainly feel free if you want some sent out, if not available through the usual sources. Okay, so 40 years plus of experience operating tours in Latin America provides a good base to be able to provide the best trips available. Okay, so as with all of our familiars, we have a question at the end which will give you the opportunity with a correct answer sent to Contours Travel at contours@contourstravel.com. And today's question is, what is the name of the waterfall you visit at part of this trip? If you send that through in an email, and you'll go into the draw for a place in our next famil. Hopefully you've enjoyed our webinar today. Please feel free to type if you've got any questions, and if not, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to hearing from you all in regards to this trip and our wonderful programs that we operate throughout Latin America.